But without further ado, we got to speak to the man himself, our own Australian frontiers person, icon of the industry, Kim Salmon. How you doing?
Frontiers person, I like that. I'm from the West. So
Yeah,
yes.
You're on the frontier, the Wild West, right?
Yes, it was pretty wild.
It was great. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way. There were some nuts and bolts questions asked from the YouTube cascade of comments. Jim wants to know single album expected release date. And that is a direct quote from him. Just like bang, bang,
single
bang.
album, okay. The single, I believe, will be out digitally. It is only going to be a digital single on the 7th of August.
7th of August.
Burning Down the Plantation, yes.
Yes, Burning Down the Plantation, premiering on the Tower of Song on Double J on Monday, my radio show, actually. As it turns out, I'm very excited to be giving it its first spin. But you delivered it here, live here tonight. How did it feel playing a show, moving the wind around?
It's kind of weird doing songs that you've never actually rehearsed before. You've actually never feel at home with them, and we haven't quite got used to it. Most of that set, we were very uncomfortable and not in our comfort zone, and that was all for the audience. It was, we put ourselves out. We'll do that.
For what it's worth, you couldn't tell. And having
it would be better if you could.
You could tell you were trying, that's for sure.
But being a try-hard, thank you.
No. You've kind of brought this onto yourself, I feel,
I
Kim,
know.
because the album's an improvised record. So isn't sort of the songs in
Phil's
the spirit?
idea, the drummer. I'm blaming it on the drummer. Drummers are always the good scapegoat, So he had the idea because he comes from the world of jazz. So he thought, well, let's make our next album. We'll just improvise it. And I thought, well, yeah, but you've got to have songs and stuff, It's like
those crazy jazz cats. Who ever listened to them?
Well, yeah.
You're the godfather of grunge. You're not supposed to listen to a jazz cat.
Yeah, no, I know. And but these are crazy times, as we used to saying. How many times have you said crazy times? So we found ourselves listening to a jazz drummer.
That's how bad it's got. Are you planning any more, live online rehearsals?
That's it. Yeah, the Surrealists haven't got a great history of rehearsing. I don't really recall us ever rehearsing. We always did actually just kind of do that. But
that's the punk way.
The punk way. But we somehow managed to hide that from our audiences. But this time, with lockdown and all that, it was the opportunity to reveal ourselves.
Did the scientists rehearse much?
No, I wouldn't know what to do.
At a rehearsal.
And I'm a music teacher. God, this is terrible. I'm telling. Don't any of my students listen to a word that I'm saying, please.
I love the idea of learning a guitar from you. I reckon I could learn a hell of a lot from you. Take us through a Kim Salmon guitar lesson.
Wasn't I just saying to you all 2 songs of the song you played, and you pointed out that it was actually 3, and I think you were correct.
2 to 3 chords, 1, 4, 5.
Yeah, exactly. All of them major.
That's just about all I know. But is it true that people can actually get a lesson from you still? Is that part of the way you're getting through ISO?
No. I teach at a college, JMC Academy, and they look after me very well, and hopefully I look after my pupils. Hopefully I don't put them crook.
What are you doing? What's a day in the life of a Kim Salmon ISO day?
I go for a bit of a walk, and that's going to be curtailed somewhat, isn't it? I hear we can't go because I usually do about 2 hours of it. Because what do you do? Right. What are you going to do with the rest of the day? And you're putting on weight and sort of. So I kind of have to do that 2-hour walk, to. Burn off the calories or whatever that I'm going to, consume for the rest of the day because you're out of boredom. What do you do?
Yeah, it's strange days.
I've been doing a lot of painting, or I was doing a bit of that, but I think when everybody comes out of lockdown, there's going to be a hell of a lot of COVID art out there, and I'm not going to be any exception.
I mean, there was actually a question online that referred to your artistry extending beyond music. Painting's a passion and visual arts. Has the visual arts extended through to your coat tonight?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did make sure I turned my back on the audience for a reason.
Did you make your coat?
Yeah. I once one punter once came to a gig and he'd done something with similar, and I was inspired. I thought that's kind of cool, and I went to an op shop and got a really groovy jacket and completely ruined it. But somebody gave me this lab coat. What's his name? DJ Wolvie Trash up in Brisbane gave me this coat. It was blue, and I thought it was a nice canvas there to do something. Well, then I thought, what'll I do? Oh, swamps. That's it's a bit obvious, but that's what.
It looked good. Also, a big shout out to Frankie, who loved Stu, your bass player's white satin shirt as well. It is very nice and white satin, as you said.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. He just unveiled it this evening. I hadn't seen it. It was like a wedding or something, wasn't it?
Were you disappointed? Were you worried about being outshone? How did you feel when you first laid eyes on Stu's white satin shirt?
I leave it to him to be the the rock star, pretty boy of the band. I'm 63 years old. I don't have any delusions. So
Speaking of a man that defies his own youth. Where was this question? Because I need to ask it. There was a question. Oh, yes. Stephen X over on YouTube asks how you maintain your lovely head of rock hair during COVID times. Does it take much maintenance?
I actually learned in later life that it was better to just go with the fro, as they say, because my hair is naturally curly, but people might not have known that. I used to spend a lot of time trying to look punk and doing the exact opposite of the punk thing by look at you there, tousling your hair up. Oh.
I'm getting paranoid. I'm not going with the fro enough.
Yeah, I used to have to keep it under manners with a blow dryer and straightening tongs, all the Vince Noir sort of paraphernalia. And I kind of gave it up one day. I just thought, what? All these electricity bills, and
looking fine. I have to name drop because just reading through your bio, you have been noted as a seminal influence on
seminal
influence indeed on these, like basically every cool band you've ever heard.
Oh,
like
really?
the likes of Nirvana, and what is a day in the life of Kim Salmon when you find out that Jack White really likes you, or John Spencer, or okay, let's start.
I guess
with
they
Nirvana.
haven't met me, so they
you don't meet these people. You might. I've seen you play with John.
I've met. I know John quite well.
What's John Spencer up to these days? Do you have ISO Zooms with John Spencer?
I don't.
You don't Zoom?
I don't. No, I Zoom for my students.
Ah.
So it's a bit like work, Zooming. I've had a couple of Zoom parties, but it's hard work with looking at a screen, I think, I find. But I shouldn't be saying that now because you're all looking at me through your screens, and it's not work.
Indeed. I know it's hard to plan for the future. What you got coming up?
Well, that leads up to the timeline you were talking about. Yes, there's an album coming out. It's I'm putting my JobKeeper money into the music economy, and there's a pressing plant, a new one in Thornbury called Program, and they've offered me a nice deal whereby I can actually afford to print up a double album. So
Woo! Oh, gatefold.
A gatefold, yeah.
Are we going to see you nude Burt Reynolds across the cover?
Too late.
Too late. All right. Fair enough.
It is, in a way, it is a revealing thing. It's actually, it's my book up there. You saw it. It's I read out of the book there when I'm live because I can't remember my words or anything. And I've got all my lyrics spread out on the inner gatefold. So there's all these books opened out. It's just the one with all the lyrics of all the songs. I've never had lyrics printed out before.
Well, that is revealing.
That is revealing. It is kind of as close to nudity in Kim Salmon that you're going to ever see. And there's the cover on the other side of the book. So, yeah.
At the risk of further revelation, could you please down your COVID-safe 6-pack of beer? The IPAs that are there at a social distance, take them with you and please enjoy. Hand them out to the rhythm section or not.
I think you put me on the spot there. I kind of have to now.
Damn it. Ladies and gentlemen, Kim Salmon, if you could...